Pesach Shiny.
Okay, Yossel, you're on. That's good.
We're live. We're going to be live in a moment.
Yeah.
Live? What are you now?
Now I'm Lebedik.
You look better.
Okay, Yossi and Shlomi, I'm going to leave it to you. You know what the lineup is and what who goes follows what. Who goes after
Okay,
who.
we're live now.
Akiva,
And
turn
we're
on
live
your
now,
video.
so we'll start in 1 minute. I think people are still joining, and we're going to start in 1 minute. Okay?
Yossi, mute everybody, and then we'll start in a minute.
Okay, let me get back into the Zoom meeting. So everybody is muted.
Is the
Welcome.
Storches are on?
The Storches are on.
Okay.
I can feel the Storches through the video. I can hear the beautiful Nagunim just seeing them. I feel the energy. The Storches and the Wisers. I feel smarter already just looking at the Wisers.
Okay. Make sure they introduce themselves again.
According to
Finish, because I'm going to walk from where I am. Yes.
Turn off it.
The which?
Akiv, you're the first. You're supposed to speak first, according to the
Yes,
schedule.
I am. Okay, so I'm going to start right now. We're ready? Here, Yossi, here, hold on.
Akiva, put on your, there you go.
There you go. You ready? Live from New York. It's Friday afternoon. Sounds like Shabbos, right? Guess where I am. Show everybody where I am. What is that? That's 725 Montgomery. Get a close-up of the Rav and see his
That's where I
reaction.
grew up.
What is that? That's right. I'm going to go inside and check. Maybe they have an old bike I can sell on eBay that belonged to the Rav. Should I go upstairs and knock? What do you think? Anyway, it's a perfect place to start. Let me tell you a story. Ephraim is not here. I'll stand right in front of the 725 sign in front of Rabbi Eber, who lives here now. He doesn't remember the first Gilgal of this house. That Rav Moshe Mordechai Lowy, Shlita, who grew up here. I'm sure the Kedusha still remains. 725. Say hello to Toronto.
Hello, Shalom.
Okay. No, he's looking at me too. He wants to understand where I am. So let me tell you a story. Hold on to this, Yehuda. You hold it, okay? So let me tell you a story. When Ephraim grew up, it's almost true. I went to see Rabbi Adler. Everybody remembers Rabbi Nachum Adler. And Ephraim was about 5. And Rabbi Adler looks at me and goes, "No, very gate cheder. Where does he go to school?" And I said, "You know what? I'm not sure." My usual way, I like to disturb the pot, so I tell him either Nitivot or Babov. And he looks at me and goes, "Akiva, Nishdu and Nishdu." Here we had the AUFRUF 22 years later. And where do we have the AUFRUF? Do we have it in the Agudah? We're a great community where he grew up, or do we have it in the oil? Over the last 2 years, 5 Bachrim have become Chassanim. And the Barnishler leaped over and goes, "Akiva, Nishdu, Nishdu." And we have it right here. What do we have here? We have an AUFRUF. I know it sounds like Erev Rosh Hashanah, an AUFRUF. What do we say in Erev Rosh Hashanah? We say Hataras Nedarim, right? Hataras Nedarim, we say, this is the AUFRUF we have. No shul, no minyan, no aliyas, no party, no candies, no family. Enkan loy neder, loy shvua, loy naziris, loy chayrim. But they end the basin, what do they say? Yeshkan mechila, slicha, kapara, which all equals to unconditional love. We have a resilient Choson who for 3 months hadn't been back with his family. He had to go at it alone. Instead of kivasimcha seitzeyun, he was in isolation. He had to go to his shver for Pesach even before he was married. You think that's going to add up to the minyan for Pesach later on? No way. But he's been resilient. He stayed focused. And we're so proud of him. And we love him. And it's a great reunion. What else do we have here? We have an amazing kehillah. Led by the incredible love. We have it devoted and caring and doing and caring. And a generous kehillah. And I love all of you. And you've been amazing. And especially what we have a great gift of simcha. It's perfect. It's a tamim, and we're not going to let anything disturb it. To answer the Rabbeinu Shalom and to answer Rabbi Menachem Adler, do und do. It is here and it is now, and we accept it. Thank you very much.
Mazel tov, mazel tov. tov.
Thank you. Storches, whenever they're ready.
We're ready for the Storches.
Mazel tov,
Ready
AJ.
for the Storches.
Okay, let me unmute the Storches.
I got in
We are ready. You're unmuted, the Storches, and we are very, very excited.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. B'shu toiv u'mitzlachas.
Amen. Okay, who's going to introduce the Sim brothers?
I can introduce them, but I'll leave it to you. Okay, nobody introduce like you introduce.
Okay.
So I'd like to introduce the Sim brothers to, we call it Simchas Achim. What do we call it? Ach Sameach. We call it Ach Sameach. Aleph Chet, as in brother. I'd like to introduce the Ach Sameach vocals, the Ach Sameach vocalist team. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Take it away. One, two, three, go. Shkoyach. And now we're going to hear from the Storch family once again, a beautiful Friday night niggin to get us in the mood. Storch for the whole roster and Storch Family.
Yossi and Shlomi. Normally, obviously, as you know, the AUFRUF includes davening and then a meal and then another meal. And the AUFRUF, we're trying to compress all these events into a very short period of time. So I want you to, if I introduce the next person, it's not a big deal for me to introduce a Chabad Shliach. So I'm going to allow you to do it. Do you have the information?
Are you allowing me to do it?
Yes, I am.
I'm very honored. Now, judging from this resume that Akiva told me about the Yitzchok Lerman, maybe Akiva, you'd like to highlight your Yitzchok so the Olam could see his holy face. It looks like he is single-handedly responsible for a big portion of the unemployment in America because he has so many jobs and so many responsibilities. It's no wonder people can't find jobs. Rabbi Yitzchok Lerman is the rabbi of Congregation Bethel of Rutherford, New Jersey, and he's a Ram in Yeshivas Lubavitch of Morristown. He's a director of Chabad of the Netherlands, and he's a shliach to South Bergen County. With so many responsibilities, I guess we have to consider ourselves very fortunate that Rabbi Lerman was willing to spend a couple of minutes with us on an Erev Shabbos Kodesh where normally people are rushing. And it's a great covet for us to be able to hear from Rabbi Yitzchok Lerman. Please stand up and share with us some thoughts.
I mean, this is really, really beautiful. This it's such a beautiful idea, and I want to say a shkoyach to the Storch and the Sim families. It was mamish, really, really beautiful. Thank you very much. And it's we actually have our shul Zoom minion at 5 o'clock as well. So it's really nice that we have this opportunity. Now it's Bashkacha Pratis that the Chasna is scheduled on Lag BaOmer this coming week, and we know that the Zohar writes that once there was a famine, there was a drought in Eretz Yisrael, and they came to Rashbi, they came to the Shim Bayachai, and they asked him to daven for them, and he said, it says, Hine matoivu manoyim shevas achim gam yochad. So he said, I have a question. Hine matoivu manoyim, it's very nice and pleasant. Shevas achim, when brothers sit, yachtov together. Why does it say gam yochad? What's the gam for? When the brothers are also sitting together? So the Rashbi, Reb Shimon Yochai explains that the achim over here in the pasuk are referring to the kruvim. The kruvim, the cherubs that were on top of the aron, which is interesting because kruvim, Rashi explains when it speaks about the aron, Rashi explains kruvim are the pnei tinuk, like a face of a child. However, in Parshas Bereshis, where it says that the kruvim were put to guard Gan Eden, it says kruvim malachi chabola. So sometimes the children are tzaddikim, sometimes you can have chas v'shalom. And what Rashbi explained is that the gam is referring to when the kruvim are pnei yishalachim, when the kruvim are facing each other. That's a good sign. That's a good sign when Hashem is happy, when Hashem is proud. When the kruvim are facing away from each other, then it's not a good time. And that's what we need to say. That when the achim are together, then the gam is there as well. The gam refers to the Eibishter. When the achim are together, then gam yachad, the Eibishter kaviyachol, is with them as well. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe explained that it wasn't just the kruvim itself. The kruvim actually reflected on the relationship between the Yidden and Hashem. The kruvim was, the one was the face of a male, and the other one was the face of a female. And the female represents the Jewish people. So when they're facing together, that's when there's the Eibishter's bracha. But chas v'shalom, if they're not facing each other, then there's no bracha. We know that Ish v'Isha have the name of Hashem inside of them, Alf Yud Shin, Alf Shin Hey, and then when they're facing each other, when they're together, we have the bracha of Hashem inside their home, and this is where we bench the Choson and Kala, that they should build a bayis nema v'Yisrael together, and especially we have such a special Choson, a Chosid, a Yir Shamayim, and a Lamdin Kipshutai. I've known Ephraim now for a while, and Pashat a Lamdin, someone who sits and learns the whole day, utilizes his time, mikzah shlach b'fanav, and also is someone, as you see in these pictures.
Is this called Bafanov? Not so sure. You might be able to say whatever's on your mind.
I gave a shir yesterday in my yeshiva about the gather of Eidos v'chulu mitzvahs on Zoom. But what we have is, first of all, a Talmud Chacham, but also, as you see, someone who's also involved in Mivtzayim, someone who's not just taking care of himself, but he also reaches out to every single person. I mean, MetLife Stadium is the epitome of Ishapcha. We have a place where it's Tachtan Shein Tachtan Matam Imenu. There's a place where people go for sports, people go for entertainment. However, as we saw by the Siyam Hashas, we Yidden have the capability of taking a place which is used for things that are not in Yanei Kedusha, and to transform it into a place of Torah. Now, even there, as you can see, Ephraim was able to transform even they're able to find the Yidden who did not have opportunity to put on tefillin yet. And I think this is it's an incredible shlichus that Ephraim was able to accomplish. It was at the Siyam HaShas, but it wasn't only at the Siyam HaShas. We were able to have menorah lightings there with Ephraim's help on both games on Hanukkah. We have a sukkah mobile there on Sukkos. And we're able to afford Yidden opportunities to, wherever they go, they should remember that the AUFRUF Hashem is with them in every single way, and can make an incredible effect on their lives. And we've hosted Ephraim at our home, and Baruch Hashem he's a mensch, and it's a very big schus to. I'm honored to be able to share a few words, and I want to wish the Choson Ekala much brachas, and going on shlichus is this standing outside at the stadium when it's cold, when it's raining, it's selfless. I think this is a good preparation for marriage to allow someone else in, so we can have the Sheves Achim Gam Yachad, you can have the Ish V'Ishtoi, the Kruvim facing each other, and when that happens, the bracha of Hashem is able to rest. And together, I want to wish Mazel Tov to the Balter families and the Flint families, and all the mishpacha, the Babas, the Zaydas, that we should have a sach nachas from this couple. And this couple are going to, they should have build a bayis nama b'Yisrael and bring a lot of nachas and simcha to the entire mishpacha. Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Ephraim, say mazel tov.
Mazel tov, yes, shkoyach. Mazel tov.
Shkoyach. L'chaim. Anybody who has a l'chaim, it's perfect time because we're right in the middle of the Friday night. We're the Friday night Suda after.
Chaim, Akiva, Chaim, Ephraim, Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov.
I see, Akiva, you have an issue.
Where's Yossi? What happened to Yossi?
I'm right over here.
Oh.
And I think we're up to the next stage of our program. We have a very special chazan here. Is Avi Balter here, or do we need
I'm Akiva. I'm Akiva.
He's here. Akiva, he's here.
L'chaim, Akiva, l'chaim, l'chaim. To be a life of simcha, of nachas, of shefa toiv, of shefa bracha, and atzlacha. Avi, I can see you, and I'm going to unmute you because we are ready for Avi to take on the Yomid. Avi, David, the Yomid of the Agudah is a very special opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to daven too fast, too slow, too loud, and too low, all at the same time. That doesn't happen every day.
Can we hear me?
We hear you perfectly. We're all excited here.
All right. Ready?
We're ready. Take it away.
Good to see you too.
Na da 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 am kelo dain al kol hamahasim baruch u'maygal mipi kol hanshama gadlai v'tuvai malei olam nahatus bonatzai v'vim ha'oidai ha'miskael chayais ha'kodesh Benedar mechavain al hamerkava Zechus umishayr lifnei chisai Chesed v'rachamim olei kibaydai Hay v'miyah hay kabara Elai ka'aynu saram midas V'vinov haskem Hayachug mura naskan bohem li Aismais lemikerev tevel Mileim zir V'mefikim naida Hayno ezivam Nechal ha'olam Semeichem b'teisam Misasim b'vayam Oisim b'yehema Yitzayim Noisim lish my tola verina lezeh machusai Kara lashem esh vayizracha oira vehiskin surat halvona Kevach noisim loi Kal tiva ma'adayim tiferet sugidula I sit up in
Singing paramedics.
Very nice.
John, you finished your conclusion. Your patients are probably feeling better.
That's all it is.
Beautiful.
The wedding. What?
Take a walk. Right now, not yet. Maybe.
Yes, next.
Okay, I think we're ready for a beautiful Mimkaimcha by the Storch family. So we're going to unmute the Storch family and we're going to ask them to share with us a beautiful Mimkaimcha.
You can just feel from a meeting themselves to make it easier, but
okay.
I can only do it when I'm supposed to do it, right?
Nope.
what do you mean?
Shkoyach.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
We have is the Choson Ephraim? Are you ready for your Aliyah?
Oh.
Is Ephraim ready for the Aliyah? Akiva, is Ephraim ready? Akiva, is Ephraim ready? I think Ephraim is ready. Rab Shlomi, take it away. Only you can get a guy to come to the Torah all the way from Crown Heights.
Okay, Yossi, you have to ad lib.
Why don't we hear him?
His audio's not working.
Okay, so I'll have to lip sync.
I don't hear you.
We know that.
I can't hear you.
If I'm not mistaken, Saul, last time he had two phones. He had one for his.
How about you dial in?
You got it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm standing up.
See, they're going to spotlight. Forward the link that I sent
Choson Ephraim Balter, Simcha, Tanishun Akiva, Halevi, Mafti.
Yeah.
One more time. One more time.
Shkoyach.
Haven't heard that in a long time, Shlomo. Haven't heard that in a long, long time, Shlomo.
All right. Yossi, is Mayor ready?
Mayor is ready to go.
Ready to go.
Once again, we're delighted to hear from our famed Balkoyer, one of our two Balkoyer, Rabbi Balikriya, Rabbi Meir Tenenbaum. Take it away.
Made it on the front screen. Very good.
Umakei vehema yeshalameno makei adam yumas mishpat echad yelochem kager ko ezrach yeki ani Adonai Elohechem vaydaber Moshe el bnei Yisrael vayotziu esam kalel el michutz lamachne vayignu isoi oven Uvnei Yisrael asu kasher tzivadina es Moshe.
Okay. Really?
Simmen Teufer, Mazel Teufer, Mazel Teufer, Simmen Teufer, yeah, Simmen Teufer, Mazel Teufer, Mazel Teufer, Simmen
It's like it's a full candy.
She's throwing candy.
Wednesday.
Okay. Now for the week announcements of the week. Let's find the Gabber of Moshe. Where's your Moshe Stern? Oh, Moshe Stern is going to share with us the announcements of the week.
We gotta get Moshe. Yossi Abdel, mute him.
Sorry. Hayom Tishav Es Shivyoim Shehem Arba'ah Shavuos V'Yom Echad La'Omer. On behalf of the entire Kehillah, I'd like to wish a heartziga mazel tov to my fellow Loop editor and the ABC Agudah Zoom creator, Mr. and Mrs. Akiva and Carmela Balter, on the occasion of the AUFRUF of their son Ephraim Simcha, and on the upcoming chasana of Ephraim and his Kalish Prinza. May they be zeicha to build the Bayis Nem of Yisrael. Mincha on Shabbos will be at 8 o'clock, followed by Pirkei Avos Perek Daled. Daf Yomi on Motzei Shabbos is Danny Finkel's at 10 o'clock on Channel A and Yossi Simon at 10:30 on Channel B. Mishe Beirach Avar Yisenu Av Misav Yaakov Hu Yivarech Es HaChoson Etamim Ephraim Simcha Ben Rishon Nasan Akiva Halevi Ves Avi ve'imoi ve'achiv ve'achosav ves Akalish Prince Rechel Bas Rav Avraham Michal Halevi ves Kol Mishpachta ves Moreinu Harav Moshe Mordechai Ben Shimon Yitzchok ve'ishtoi v'chol yotzech haleseya v'avu shechasan atomim Ephraim Simcha Ben Rishon Nasan Akiva Halevi Yitin Stoka v'avuram. The B'schar zeh, Kodesh Baruch Hu yishmereu v'atzileu mikol tzar v'tzukah u'mikol nego machala v'yishlach baruch v'atzlacha b'chol ma'is yadav im kol Yisrael echa v'yizkel yichonis l'chuppah v'itay b'zmanai v'noymar. Amen.
We have to cue the show.
Didn't say that. Don't say that.
Russell, you're on. Okay. Ephraim?
We're ready for Ephraim's Dvar
A mimer, not a BALTERS. It's a mimer.
I'm on mute. Okay. So, Shabbos. We're in the middle over here of Sefer Vayikra, also known as Teres Koyanim, which discusses multitudes of mitzvahs that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives to us, as with all mitzvahs, to fulfill the Eibishter's Ratzon, and therefore, through them, we connect Him. Bizman hazeh, when we're unable to fulfill many of the mitzvahs in a physical sense, we're taught to neshalma farm sifasenu, that when we learn and study the halachas of these mitzvahs, it's in place and as if these mitzvahs were fulfilled physically. In keeping with this concept, this is the Shabbos before my chasna, the Shabbos AUFRUF, if you will, and there's a plethora of halachas, minhagim, pomp, and circumstance that given the current situation, just can't be done. Therefore, I thought it would be a good idea to discuss the sugya of the AUFRUF, to give a little pshetel about its sources and minhagim. Those who didn't pay attention by bar mitzvah pshetel have a chance to make up for it now. Al derech Pesach Sheni. Yehi ratzon that this Dvar Torah should be mamshech. All the hamshach is usually brought down by a AUFRUF in the Agudah, the two-room Kiddush with Kalman's Kishka and everything else that comes with it. There's two parts to the AUFRUF, aside from the Kiddush, of course. What are the two parts? Is the literal AUFRUF, the calling up of the Choson and giving him an aliyat Torah. And then there's the throwing of the candies at the Choson. We'll start with the more outstanding part of this ceremony, the throwing of the candy, or the peklach. The two parts for the source of and there's two parts for the source of this minhag. The Gemara Brachos Daf Nun answers a stira between two brises about whether it's usher to throw food. The Gemara over there is discussing whether or not it's usher to throw food, and there's a stira that's brought down. It is usher, it's not usher. So the Gemara answers that if the food is going to become dirty and it's going to become ruined through the throwing of the food, then there would be no issue. The Gemara brings a brisa to this point, which says that they would throw toasted grain and nuts, which apparently passed for candy in those days. They would throw toasted grain and nuts at the Choson and the Kala only during the dry summer months, when the food wouldn't become dirty, when it wouldn't become a design for the food during that time. Now, why would they throw it? Rashi explains that they would throw this stuff, sheyeh siman tov, that would be a good sign for the Choson and Kala, a sign of bracha, siman tov. Now, the Yerushalmi Brachos discusses the same sugya and brings down that the relatives of the Choson and Kala would bring barrels filled with the same kind of candy, toasted grain and nuts, and they would break them in front of the Choson and the Kala. Then it would be the children would rush and they would collect all the treats, all their candy. They would break the barrels, the children would come and collect it. So that's also the two parts of even the throwing the candy is the throwing of the candy and then the children collecting it. So it turns out that you see with them breaking the barrels, turns out maybe the piñata isn't a Hispanic innovation, but an Israeli one, like everything else, I guess. A side note, yeah. Now, as far as the aliyah itself, the Choson is a chiyuv for an aliyah the Shabbos before his wedding. A chiyuv for an aliyah means that it's the tzibur whose collective chiyuv is kriyas haTorah, is required to call him up and give him an aliyah. Now, a Choson isn't the only one with this chiyuv status, right? There's many other people. Where's the source? How do you know who's a chiyuv? A lot of people like getting for a birthday, which is a minhag from Hasidim. But generally, where is who qualifies? We know about Yartzei, we know this. So this is all clarified in the Sefer Shari Ephraim by Rabbi Ephraim Margolis, a late Achron from the later Achronim. He has a Sefer on Kriyas HaTorah, and it discusses all the chiyuvim for the aliyahs, as well as their order of precedency. Who takes precedence over the other one? A Baal Bris, then a Baal Yartzeit, then a husband whose wife gave birth, a Bar Mitzvah Bachar, and a Choson are on parallel, but it's specifically a Choson the Shabbos before his wedding. Now, all of these chiyuvim are Zman Grama. If one was a chiv yard side and missed getting an aliyah, the next week he's no longer a chiv, and he takes precedence over no one. You want to give him an aliyah, that's a nice thing, but there's no chiv to give him an aliyah, right? Similar to a husband whose wife gives birth. After a few weeks after, there would no longer be a chiv. The one exception is a choson. The halacha is that if a choson is getting married out of town and he won't be home the week before his chasana, he gets an aliyah the last week he's at home. Even then he still has the level of chiyuv. Again, even though his chasana is not that week, because it's his last week at home, he has the chiyuv. He has the highest level of chiyuv for an aliyah on that day. Now you would think, isn't it totally in it being the Shabbos before his wedding? So we see it's not totally in Zman. It's not specifically totally in Zman. It is totally in something else. Now, what is this? What's the reason? What's so important about giving a choson and aliyah the last Shabbos that he's at home? The reason for this is that the purpose in giving the choson and aliyah is not just in honor of his chasana or something like that, but rather it serves an important practical purpose. As a choson moves on to the important stage of building his own home, in order to assume the role of a mashpia, he can't just do it by himself. He needs the motivation of a proper farewell procession from those who raised him. And yes, and from those who raised him. This is why we sing to the choson. It's as the choson is leaving and taking on the stage, he needs this extra push, this extra motivation from those that raised him, and not just his parents who raised him, but the village. It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes all of those people seeing the choson on his way, even weeks before the wedding, as he's leaving to go travel, to go get married, they need to be seeing him off with this procession. So there is no question that the Agudah has been my village. Some of my earliest and most precious childhood memories are in the Agudah. Getting candies from Mr. Younger, all of a shalom, Pirche, and many other programs with Rabbi Blaustein. My friends, we would play Shabbos football, home free, bottle caps, lots of other good games. I'm close with them to this day. Always, when I was out of town in yeshiva and I'd come in Bein Hazmanim, the community was genuinely interested in hearing what was going on. I would always get a shalom aleichem. What have you been up to? Where are you hanging out? Was is nice in Lubavitch? All of this stuff. And of course, the biggest Yasher Kach goes to the Rav, who holds us all together and is a true manig of the community, as we see clearly in these difficult times. May we all be zeicha that the Eibusher should take it out of Golus, v'yosuchol magoda echos, la'aseh shitzayncha b'leivav shalom, ba'agoli didan b'meher v'yameinu mamash. Amen.
Mazel tov, a beautiful simcha.
Akiva, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I did actually. I don't know if one of you can find. I'm honored that the Mechitten Harav Avram Flint is on. He has an iPhone, and he's a distinguished looking man. The other one who has an iPhone is the Rav, of course, but there's someone else who has the iPhone. And I think that Apple should be honored that both Rabbi Lowy and Rabbi Flint are using their product. But that's a separate issue. But if you look, you can find him and just spotlight him for a moment. There he is. Mazel tov, mazel tov. Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Hi,
mazel tov.
Mazel tov, asach naches.
You have a diamond.
Mazel tov, asach naches.
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Mazel tov, naches, simchas.
Amen. Welcome to the Agudah.
Thank you. Okay, so now we go on to
the Rav is going to say, tell him, which capital is the Rav saying?
130 and 142.
Okay.
My wife watches.
Start with Kuflamed, that's fine.
Kuflamed will say.
Okay.
You can find it on Tehillim online.
I have it here. We got it right here.
Oh, wow.
Mavoina is the Shmoya. Adonai miyamoy kim chaslicha. The man tivarei. Kvisi Adonai kivsa nafshi. V'dvaroi yachalti. Nafshil Adonai mishoimrim laboiker. Shoimrim laboiker. Ach Yisrael Adonai. Kim Adonai chesed v'arbi moifedos. O Yivdes Yisrael. Mikol Noisav.
Mikol Noisav.
Chaynu kol beis Yisrael, Nesurim Yisrael, Shibyo, Oim Dim Bein Bein Bosha. Amokim Menachem Aleim, V'etzim Yisrael, V'okim Peil Oiram, Mishibit L'gulash, V'ozman Kori V'noim Amen, Mishibech Ha'oseinu, Avram Yitzchak Yom Moshe, Adov Shlomo Yivorech, V'yirapes Kol HaCholim V'yireinu, V'esa'an Ben Tov V'etel, V'eshom Yosef Ben Handel, V'es Chaim Doiv Ben Kreindel, V'es Yaakov Ben Yanteleyev, V'es Elazar Ben Liva Rezel, V'es Nosen Tzvi Ben Alt Tziril, V'es Hazakot Shvochen Lanu Nach Maleim, Achlim L'Apais Al Zichron Yosam Yishach Lem Meheder Fuish Lem Shmaim L'Chol V'Reim L'Chol Gdeim Sochshach L'Fus Nef Shvusakov Hashvos Makori B'Noimar Amen.
Amen.
Ross, what's next?
Now that we're going to hear Divrei Bracha from the Rav and Pirkei Avos.
First, such a beautiful, beautiful simcha. I'd like first to give a l'chaim to Ephraim, l'chaim to Akiva, Babram, the whole family, to Risha, Balter, and the whole mishpacha, the ambush mishpacha. The Baim should help that Baruch Hashem. Look at Ephraim. You know, Ephraim is the symbol of Yidgul Roi B'Kerev Oretz. So Ephraim always goes with official because Ephraim is Yidgul Roi. Baim should help that he and Shprinzi should have a home that's Yidgul Roi B'Kerev Oretz. He should be able to, in the Kiddush Hashem Shemayim, with his home should be a Mahakim Shechina, and Akiva and the whole Mishpacha should only see Simchas together with the Flint Mishpacha and the Ambush Mishpacha, and we should, the whole Agudah Mishpacha, it's our Simcha. It's our Simcha together. We should always join the Simchas together. Mazel Tov, Mazel L'chaim. In this week's parsha, we have the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem and Chil Hashem. There's Chal Hashem Kotshi, and Igdashti B'Soich B'nei Yisrael. And when we learn the inyan of Kiddush Hashem and Chil Hashem, what's Chil Hashem? What's Kiddush Hashem? So the Gemara brings down in Yuma Heichon, what's called Kiddush Hashem? So the Gemara brings down, and Rashi brings down, what does Chil Hashem mean? Chil Hashem means someone who's choite machtes arabim, that someone sins and because of him others people sin also. The Kiddush Hashem is just opposite, someone who does a mitzvah, and because that others also do the mitzvahs through him. Yeah, so we learn in Pirkei the Kol HaMzakas Rabbim Ein Chet Bo Al Yodai. Moshe was Zika V'Zakas Rabbim Ein Chet Bo Al Yodai. There's someone who's Mzakas Rabbim, Moshe Rabbeinu, who taught the Torah. So the Gemara brings down what's called Kiddush Hashem. So Rav says, if I take from a butcher meat and I don't pay right away, and there's going to be choshev meat that I'm not going to pay, that's Chil Hashem. So he said that's only a place where they won't come after him afterwards. Abaya, when he used to buy meat, when there's two shutfim, he used to pay each one because no one should think that he's going away. Then they would come together and even out and how much he really owes. Rav Yochanan says, if I go Dal Damas without Torah and Tefillin, that's a Chil Hashem. So Rashi brings down because people will learn from him that you don't look at Rav Yochanan's not learning, we don't have to learn either. And Yitzchok says if someone whose his name is not a good name, and then the Gemara says, Abai says, it's just like V'havta Hashem L'kecha Shem Shemayim Nis'ar B'yotcha. The Rebbeinu Hashem's name should become beloved by people. What's Shekara V'shana V'shimas L'cham? Someone who learns Masor Matona B'nachas and Mabriyos. Masor Matona B'emunah. His business is B'emunah, and his hanaga with the Briyos is B'nachas. Ma Briyos Oimim Olav. What do Briyos say on him? Ashrei Ona Aviv Shilim Daitorah. Look at him. Look what kind of person he is. Ashrei Rabbi Shlem the Torah. Kama Noim Derochav. Look at how beautiful his ways of Kamanon Masa. How is Meisim. All of Hakosav Oimer, Abdi Yisrael Ashbachoy Espoir. You're the one that I get glorified through. But me, someone learns, and he doesn't act properly. What does it say? It's something we say in the Torah Parashas Parah, that Abdi Yisrael. So if it's someone who learns Ashkol Espor, over here that Am Hashem, this Am Hashem Ashiyotza, that this is it's in the pasuk over there saying you're coming between the Goyim, Ubasim back the Cheskel and Obi saying there, you'll come Yechil Hashem, you'll be Mechal Hashem Shemayim, and they'll say Am Hashem Eila, look at what kind of people Yidden are, and the Banshim Yemechal my name. So in Chil Hashem there's two parts. There's Chil Hashem by Klal Yisrael. It's Chil Hashem by the Goyim. And Kiddush Hashem by Klal Yisrael, and Kiddush Hashem by Goyim. There's two parts of Chil Hashem. That's the Gemara is telling you. One Chil Hashem is and Kiddush Hashem, and the Gemara says on everything there's a kapara except for Chil Hashem. Chil Hashem is the big worst Aveira. They call him Mechal Hashem Shemaim B'Seiser. The Mishnah says in Efron Loi Bagoli, this big spare, that someone who makes a Chil Hashem, Chas V'Sholem. So Chil Hashem could be two ways. One, a person doesn't act properly. A person from a Yid who doesn't act properly. And people look at him, or the Yidden look at him, and the person, Mashal, talks by davening, so others learn from him. A person doesn't act properly, the people learn from him. It's Choyte Machtes Arabim. He makes a Chil Hashem. Then there's a Chil Hashem when Rabban Hashem's name gets Mechula Bagoyim. People see Yidden, they go and point at Yidden, look how Yidden act. Chalaltim as Shmi, the pasuk says. You came to the Goyim and you desecrated my name. People look who Yidden are, look what Yidden are. Especially from a Yidden, have to be very careful. People look at from a Yidden and always associate with Yidden, Am Hashem Eila. This is Rabban Hashem Zam, look how they act. So they're saying, look what Rabban Hashem is. They're speaking against Rabban Hashem. Am Hashem Eila. So a person has two responsibilities. One responsibility that by Klal Yisrael, he should be mezaka other people. He should make other people, he's mezaka Sarabim. That's the Kiddush Hashem. Chas v'shalom, not to make a Chil Hashem by Yidden, by acting. And then there's a second Chil Hashem when the Rebbeinu Hashem's name is desecrated by Fraya Yidden, when they look at it from a Yid and they see that from a Yid is not Masom Matonoi, Bemuna doesn't do his business Erlich. He doesn't, his Hagosoi and Mebrius is not Benachas. He doesn't talk properly with people. So if he's a person who's Mekadosh Shem Shemayim, a person who does Kiddush Hashem gets the biggest chus, Nikdashti b'soich b'nei Yisrael. And the pasuk says, "V'shmartem mitzvos v'asisim v'asim ani Hashem le'sechalul Shem Kotshi v'nikdashti b'soich b'nei Yisrael." So the Chumsoiva says it doesn't say you kedash them. V'nikdashti yeloshin ispol. A person who is erlich a yid has to be very careful. He shouldn't be Mechal Hashem Shemayim. People, point. We know what's happening even now. People are talking, but from a Yidden, there's more cases now of Corona. They're not careful. The Chil Hashem that comes out of it, the people go and the Kiddush Hashem Baruch Hashem here in Toronto. But people are very, very careful to adhere to all the rules and more than the rules. We know in Eretz Yisrael now, even when the government gave the heter and the matter. The Gedolim all came out that we are not matter yet. They don't want the yeshivas to open yet. They don't want children to go because the Gemara brings down Hatzolah has to be dafke to a Talmud Chacham, because the Talmud Chacham understands. The Talmud Chacham understands what a Nefesh Yisrael. For us, Nefesh Yisrael is more important than the whole economy. The economy is secondary to one Nefesh Yisrael, and that's what we're here for. We have anyone who adheres to the rules. You make sure that Chas Hashem, there shouldn't be any karbonos because of him. He himself shouldn't become a carbon. He himself shouldn't become a carbon. To be careful to somebody called me yesterday from a city out of Canada, and he said that there's somebody in his kehillah whose mishpacha dam is now a besmedrish, and he wants a person to come to daven. He said, but his wife, she's from our Medrash, said she only allows him to go if the Rav from Agudah will say that you could go. So he tried calling me that maybe you should call him. I asked him, where do you daven? So he said he davens inside a shul. I said, inside a shul? Even those who are only matter in Eretz Yisrael or in Lakewood, outside. Inside the shul, I can never take that achrayus. I can't take that achrayus. Chas v'sholom. And that's Baruch Hashem, us in the Kiddush Hashem. When people see how Yidden are going properly, Yidden, we have to be careful. Yidden walk together. Goyim look at it. Yidden, and that's why Yidden see, Goyim see, and Frei Yidden see from Yidden congregating. And they don't understand. The Chil Hashem that comes out of it, and Chil Hashem, there's no kapara Chil Hashem. And it's also not only that, it's devastating when you come to the hospital and say you brought it upon yourself, the Eva and the Chas V'Sholom, and what the Rebbeinu Shem wants from us now, the mitzvah now is to be Mekadosh Shem Shemayim, show that we are the first ones who care that no one should get sick. Yidden and not Yidden, make a Kiddush Hashem. We don't want anyone to get sick. We don't want to make anyone sick. Be careful. We go out. You wear a mask. You wear gloves, and make sure we don't congregate. We make sure that there's Chas Shalom and Kiddush Hashem to make other people. Anyone who remembers Rabbi Yonason and Sephora Balter Zechariah L'Bracha, the Kiddush Hashem they made, the Kiddush Hashem in every way. Rabbi Yonason, his whole, when he taught people in Sephora, when she was teaching in a school that's not so from, and her whole, remember she used to tell me every Friday she used to bring kugel and everything and how many kids became from them. And the same thing, the Ambush family. I mean, the Mesiras Nefesh, and the name Ambush itself is the name of Mesiras Nefesh with Rabbeinu Shloim, Baruch Hashem, and that's what we see followed by Akiva and Carmela. And look at Ephraim, whose whole life is Kiddush Hashem, and that's what we saw at home. Look, Akiva, the Kiddush Hashem he's doing now with our Kehillah. The Kiddush Hashem he's doing with our Kehillah. The Kiddush Hashem being Mezaka, people to learn, Mezaka do mitzvahs. And Ephraim, we were at the MetLife Stadium, and what was pointed out, look at Ephraim being Mezakas Arabim. Everyone came, and that's the biggest. Ephraim was speaking about having Aliyah. The reason you have Aliyah to show that Torah brings all the brachos, and you throw candies to show that if you want to have brachos the world, candies only come through Torah. And Baruch Hashem Ephraim, it was mamish a Talmud Chacham and a Yiras Shamayim and a Chassid in every way, and Kaddish Shemayim in every way. Baruch Hashem, I've told Avraham, you don't know what you got. You got the biggest oitzer you had. And Baruch Hashem, you got an oitzer like Ephraim, who was mole, Kiddush Hashem in every way. And that's what his whole life is all about. When we should help that, we hear the same thing. When I remember when Akiva told me about the Mishpacha, about Shprinza, Baruch Hashem, a Mishpacha that's doing the Kiddush Hashem for the Rebbeinu Shloim, the Kaddish Shem Shemayim, and that's our mitzvah in this week's Parsha. Nikdashti b'soich b'nei Yisrael. From a yid, somebody just wrote him an article that when he went and he was running as a candidate to become part of the New York Assembly, and so a Rebbe told him, be careful, you're from a Yid, you come a Chassidish Yid, you come in, they'll look at you and they'll point at you. Make sure you Mekadosh Shem Shemayim, and don't make a Chil Hashem. Our purpose now is Kiddush Hashem. I can't say enough words to thank Akiva and his family for the Kiddush Hashem they always make, and now they're making. The Kiddush Hashem that Ephraim, wherever he goes, is making. And just the biggest Kiddush Hashem, the Chum Soif says, Shmartim, you do your mitzvahs, Vasisim Oisam. But Loisachal, you don't make Kiddush Hashem, that's the biggest Kiddush Hashem. See it from a Yid, the way he acts. Ashrei Aviv Shel Ephraim, Shalim Dei Torah. Ashrei Rabbi Shalim Dei Torah. Ma Brias Oimen, look at people say, look how good it is to teach my son. Learn from Ephraim, look from Akiva, look what kind of son. And Oiloi Sheloilam the Torah. We learn from him. Look what happens when you teach a person properly, the proper chinuch that Akiva and Kamela give to the children. Rabbi should help by all the children's simchas, that his home should be a mikdash ma'at, a mikdash mikdash means mekadosh Shem Shemayim for everyone. The home should be always a home of simcha and ahava and shalom and bracha, and should be that they should go b'shotov mitzlachas. They're going to by the Rebbe's house on President Street. It's going to be the chuppah, the schus of the Rebbe's should go. I mean, they're so dedicated to everything, the shlichus of the Rebbe. The Rebbe should be megan on them that they should have a home full of bracha, full of simcha, full of shalom. And together we should be zoicha to the biggest Kiddush Hashem, the biyas hagoyel b'mheir b'yameinu amen. Amen.
Amen.
Mazel tov.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you to the Rav. Thank you to the Rav for sure.
With every simcha we wanna and happening to the Rabbinic, the Yibana Beis Hamikdash.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
This is
Mazel tov.
One, two, three.
Temporarily.
Mazel tov. Thank you.
Mazel tov, Akiva.
Amen. Amen.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Why mazel tov?
Mazel tov.
Akiva,
you listening?
I believe
I am. And thank everybody. I'm telling everybody, I know I'm using a sports vernacular, but I'm telling you this is the first half. I'm inviting everybody to attend on Monday night at 7:30. Guarantee you that there is enough room for everybody. Those who didn't manage to get into the Zoom reading can follow it on our channel, but there will be 500 seats. You can come in at 7:30, about 9:30 on the same channel. I invite you all to come and join it. It will also be a beautiful display of Kiddush Hashem. Thank you to the Rav. Thank you to the Storch family. Thank you to the Simons, what do you call them? Sameach. Thank you to all who tuned in, all the channels. Thank you to Ephraim. Thank you to my wife. Shekaya, thank you so much.
And then from the English channel.
Shabbos. We should go shower.
From the English
Yeah, but the in the Balters.
Eva.